Hello, Algebra 1 students. We're going to go over lesson 51. We'll see how this goes today. Hopefully this is better than no explanation at all, and you can get an idea of what to do on this, and then I'll try to explain it again tomorrow. We're talking about linear equations. What is a linear equation? A linear equation is an equation that gives us a straight line when we graph it. We talked yesterday about independent variables, being the independent variable being x. We talked about the dependent variable being y. We discussed the fact that we have been solving for y. Well, we're going to get to a point now where we're graphing those equations. So here we have the equation y equals 2x plus or minus 1. Since x is the independent variable, we can plug in whatever number we want. To make it easier on ourselves, we want to put in numbers for x that are going to work out nice and neat for us, and then we can graph easily on a coordinate plane. You can either grab a rectangular coordinate plane out of the box by the homework paper, or you can draw your own as long as you try to do a decently neat job. It's not a big deal if it's not perfect, but try to do a decent job. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to use this T-chart, T-table, to help us organize our x and our y. Alphabetically speaking, x comes first, so we're going to put it first, y second. We can, again, let x be whatever value we want, so I'm going to pick a really easy value to start off with, so I'm going to put 0 in for x. If I take my equation now, and I put in 0 for x, and then solve that, y equals -1. So when x is 0, y is -1. And that's an ordered pair, and we'll plot that in just a second. Now I'm going to take another value, and if I have the chance, I'm going to use 1 too also, because 1 is easy to work with. So I'm going to plug that in. So y equals 2 times 1 minus 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. So when I have x is 1, y is equal to 1. And then I'm going to erase a circle around this so I can clean that up a little bit. Now I'm going to use 2. You could also use -1. You could use 5. You just don't want to use too big of a number, or it's going to make it a little more difficult to graph. But I'll just use 2 on this one. So I'm going to do that over here. Y equals 2 times 2 minus 1. It's 4 minus 1, 3. So when x is 2, y is 3. We always want to use 3 points so that when we plot these, if I plot 0, -1, and 1, 1, 2, 3, whoops, I didn't plot 1, 1 correctly, did I? Oops. How about 1, 1 here and 2, 3 here? When I plot those 3, they should all give me a line. I'm going to try to use this to draw my line with. I don't know how well it'll work. We'll see how it goes there. That's not bad. So your line then will go through those 3 points. If you were to pick, say you did your arithmetic wrong in this problem with the 2. Now let's go back, just hypothetically speaking, let's say you took 4 minus 1 and you got 2. Well, if you plot that as the ordered pair 2, 2 instead of 2, 3, that puts you here, and then you can see they don't line up, so you know you made a mistake somewhere. And so you can go back and check yourself. And so if you use 3 different points, which is what I'm going to expect you to do, then that helps you to keep from making some kind of silly mistake. 3 points determine a line is what you'll often hear in math and geometry and stuff, algebra and geometry. Okay, so let's go to another one. This one has a fraction. When I'm plugging in values for a term or an equation that has a fractional value in it, I'm still going to use 0 for my independent variable x. I'm going to use 0 because 0 is easy to work. So I'm going to have y equals -1/2, plugging in 0 plus 2, 1/2 times 0 is 0 plus 2 is 2. So using 0 is almost an automatic. It just makes the arithmetic really easy. Since it's a fraction though, I'm not going to use 1. I am going to use a multiple of the denominator. That way it'll do some reducing and get rid of that fraction. So a multiple of 2 is 2. So let's use 2 and plug that in. So I have y equals negative 1/2 times 2, and I'm going to put that over 1 because it's a fraction, then plus 2. This is going to cancel my 2's to 1. Then that gives me a negative 1 times 1 is negative 1 plus 2 equals 1. Just try to work through that arithmetic there. And if 2 works, then negative 2 would also be a good one to try. And I'm going to do that down here at the bottom. Y equals negative 1/2 times negative 2 over 1 plus 2. Now again, my 2's reduced to 1. So this gives me a value of 1, and I have 2 negative signs, so that's now a positive 1 plus 2. Rewind it if that's too fast. So y equals 3. So I plugged in negative 2 and got a positive 3. Ordered pairs are 0, 2, so 0, 2, 2, 1, and negative 2, 3. Those 3 should line up in an orderly fashion so that I can then plot, or I can draw my line through those 3 points. And really I should put an arrow on that to show that it's going to continue. So that's graphing the equation of that line. Here's one without the extra stuff, but it's still done the same way. We need a value for x, and we're going to plug in 0. When you plug in 0 for negative x, or for x, it gives you a negative 0, which is simply just 0. So 0, 0. If I plug in, I'm going to use my 1, so when I plug in 1 for x, that's obviously negative 1. Pretty simple. Plug in 2, it's going to be negative 2. So your ordered pair, 0, 0, 1, negative 1, 2, negative 2. Those do line up, so I must have did my arithmetic correctly. And then I put my line through it and put my arrows on that to show that it would continue. That's what makes it a line. Pretty simple on that. Just pick out values that you think will work nice and neat for your x and plug it in. When we have x equal to a constant, just some number, the graph of that is very simple. You're just going to graph or put a line through where x is negative 2. Okay, and maybe let's use something different than what looks like there. So here, boom, 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 boom. That's x is equal to negative 2. It's just a vertical line through x is negative 2. So you can probably imagine then if you have a value for y equal to some number, same idea. So let's go to where y is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we draw a horizontal line through where y is 4. And that's the graph of that line. Okay. All right. Boy, graph y is equal to 2x and y is equal to 2 on the same rectangular coordinate system. I'm going to go ahead and let me change this up a little bit. I don't want it to be quiet. Well, I'm going to use the red anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and graph the y equals 2. That's a horizontal line through 2. I'm going to go ahead and graph that before I do the work on the other one, just to get that easy one taken care of. Then I'll take and plug in some values for x on this equation. If I use 0, 2 times 0 is going to give me 0. So when x is 0, y is 0. Okay. Then I'm going to go, I'm going to plug in 1. So when when x is 1, y is going to be 2. And then I'm just going to use 2. So when x is 2, y would be 4. So now plot those points, 0, 0, 1, 2. If you can see it, it's right there. And 2, 4. Again, those line up. So let me get my big red line here. And boom, do that. And you can see that with that, those two would intersect. And that intersection point right here is the ordered pair 1, 2. We'll be using this type of thing a little bit later, but you can tell that when you have two equations of lines that they are going to intersect unless they are parallel, and that intersection point is a solution to both. We could they both work out for it. Anyway, that's a little deeper probably than we need to get to yet. So anyway, you see what's going on here. It took a little while. It's about 11 minutes in now on this recording, so you should have some time to work. I am going to shorten this assignment up a bit for you guys. I told you I'd go over the test. I'm not here, so I know you had games and last night. You have church tonight, which you need to get to if you're a part of those and be involved in that. So I'm looking at this on the spur of the moment. Let's go 9 through 27. Now that's not entirely shortened a whole lot, but 9 through 27. Problem set 51, 9 through 27. Be good, be quiet, and cooperate with Mrs. Davenport. This is due Thursday, and we'll grade lesson 50 on Thursday also. All right, be good.